Greetings. My name is Indira Goodwine, and I am the Program Director for NEFA's National Dance Project, also known as NDP. I am a Black woman with medium-length braids, a gold rusted sweater, glasses, and a pearl necklace. Behind me is a bouquet of flowers, a standing lamp with an elephant statue on it, and an abstract painting from Cuba of musicians. I'm currently on the traditional lands of the Massachusetts, Namkeg, Nipmuc, and Wampanoag peoples in Quincy, Massachusetts.
And I'm Keita Sullivan, a Senior Program Director for NEFA's National Theater Project, also known as NTP. I am a light-skinned, Indigenous, and Black woman with glasses. I have shoulder-length salt and pepper and purple hair. I am wearing a beige cowl-neck top, large multicolored earrings in front of a maroon backdrop. I am coming to you from the traditional lands of the Massachusetts, Wampanoag, Nipmuc, and Pawtucket peoples, also known as Roxbury, Massachusetts.
Since 1996, NDP has been supporting the creation and touring of new dance works and connecting artists, cultural organizations, and audiences across the nation.
NTP, begun in 2010, promotes the development of artist-led ensemble and devised theater work while extending the reach and life of these projects through touring. We are here to tell you a bit about how we've been working to support our previous grantees over the past 6 months and to celebrate the most recent NDP and NTP awardees. I'd also like to acknowledge Rachel Judelson, who is providing interpretation for this introduction. Thank you.
As you know, the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, economic downturn, and continuing racial injustice has been devastating to the world, as well as the arts and culture sector. NEFA's values of equity, diversity, inclusion, and accessibility continue to guide our work. Back in April, we reached out to our grantees from all of our programs to learn about the impact of these crises on their work and to see where we could be flexible and intentional in our support. From the artists, we heard about the loss of scheduled performances, the uncertainties they were encountering with presenters, the difficulty of balancing life and art, and how they were still hoping to continue making art and sharing it out into the world. With this information, we have been able to adjust grant disbursement timelines, repurpose touring funds for general operating supports, and extend touring periods.
These challenges have further strengthened our commitment to the artists we support and our efforts to remain nimble, responsive, and champions for change in our fields and beyond. Because the pandemic hit just as artists were submitting their preliminary applications, both NTP and NDP were able to repurpose grant funds and for this year only, provide every applicant who did not advance to the finalist application round with a one-time $500 stipend, realizing that even a small amount of funds would be helpful given the current conditions.
With the understanding that applicants submitted preliminary proposals prior to COVID-19, both programs immediately focused on preparing advisors to assess applications in the integrity in which they were submitted. This meant shifting our virtual panel meetings in April and May, and again in August. It required adjusting the time of the meetings to accommodate different time zones, changing the structures of the meeting so that Zoom fatigue was minimized, and strengthening our proposal evaluation practices. This became the foundation for ensuring our process stayed rooted in NEFA's core values, promoted program stewardship, and supported forward thinking for the fields of dance and theater. While we hope to return to in-person panel meetings, we learned a lot through this process and are confident we can adapt if it continues to be necessary.
We are so excited about this year's cohort of grantees. Between the excellence of every project under consideration and our need to be responsive to artist needs during this pandemic, this year may have been the hardest for the NTP and NDP advisors for them to make decisions about this year's grantees. We are so grateful to the artists, the advisors, and especially the NTP and NDP teams for the difficult work that went into selecting this year's amazing group of awardees. In past years, NTP would also have awarded 4 or 5 artist development grants between $5,000 and $10,000. This year, because we didn't incur costs related to in-person meetings, we were able to repurpose those monies to provide 18 finalists who did not receive creation and touring grants with artist development grants.
Likewise, after repurposing in-person meeting costs, NDP was able to amplify our 18 finalist awards from $1,000 to $10,000 each to support the continued creation and development of their NDP project, as well as their respective sustainability needs during this time. We are grateful to the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation and the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation for their ongoing support and flexibility this year.
We recognize that the demand for these programs continues to increase and that the pandemic continues to place constraints on all of our abilities to respond in equitable and sustainable ways. While no one really knows what the performance world will look like as we come out of the pandemic, we do know that artists are continuing to create and are eager to share their work. NEFA continues to uphold its vision for artists to flourish and where communities celebrate art as essential to a thriving, equitable society. We value public commitment to the arts and culture sector as vital to a just, healthy civic life and a robust democracy.
NDP and NTP recognize that our programs will not only need to be responsive to the times, but also support the systemic change that needs to occur. We are open to what that means for the future structure and process of our programs, and will stay abreast of developments in our sector that impact all our grantees, artists, presenters, local and national communities, in order to ensure transformation. We encourage you to view the various ways that NDP and NTP programs offer support through presentation grants, travel grants, and more.
We hope you will take time to check out the new NDP and NTP artists and their projects. You can find out more on nefa.org, nefa.org, in the coming weeks. In the meantime, peruse the list of artists on the blog. Thank you for watching.